All right. We are live for another episode of the Blue Crocus Experience, and I'm excited to have William Byrd here with me tonight. We actually met through a website giveaway that we're doing, but I'm excited to chat
Yeah,
with William, talk about his business, talk about some of the growth and all the exciting stuff that comes with that. So, William, why don't you tell people where you're located, what you do, and we'll just dive right into things here.
absolutely, Lewis. First of all, thank you very much. I do want to say this before I get into that. I met Lewis. I ended up winning actually one of his drawings for a free website. Everything the guy puts out there, everything the guy says, 100% legit, easy, smooth to work with, communication, everything else. So first and foremost, Lewis, thank you very much, for all that and everything else. Definitely from the bottom of my heart, man. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it. No, I remember when I reached out and told you, you're like, man, I'm gonna cry, and you went like running off to tell your wife. You were so excited. I was excited for you.
Yeah, man, that's it. My wife is everything, but I'll get into all that. But guys, my name is William Byrd. I own Pinnacle Removal Services LLC. We are located actually in Dallas, Georgia, is where I live. I do service all of Atlanta, Georgia, and when I tell you all the metro surrounding areas, I do. I could tell you I got a F-350 about 6 months ago. I've got 31,000 miles on it. So I'll just tell you that's the area I cover. But I actually started this operation by myself in December, believe it or not. And I guess now here in 7 months, I started with the F-150 2018 and a Big Tex 10SR, built some walls on there. After a month, ended up getting my second trailer. I got a 14-foot Lamar. Then I traded and was able to get an F-150. Then I was able to have another agreement and bring on another 3 trailers. So currently, right now, I actually have 3 trucks, pickup trucks that pull the trailers, 2 F-350s, 1 Chevy 1500, operate 5 trailers, 3 tongue pulls, 2 goosenecks, and actually looking next week to see about getting a 6th trailer as well. So been beyond blessed to grown as much as I have. It has not been easy. It is not a normal situation for this industry, everything else. But that's kind of where I'm at now. And where I plan to be, I'll definitely talk about that more too. But that's just kind of about me. And also 40 years old, married, been married actually on the 6th of this month, will be 9 years with my wife. I'll tell you guys, at the end of the day, gotta have a purpose, man. Whether it be money, whether it be want to find stuff. For me, it's my family, man. My wife is everything. The amount of hours that I personally work, and the time you put into this business, man, is what you're going to get out of it. But you got to find that one reason, and for me, that's what that is. Man. It's definitely my wife for sure.
Yeah, no, and you're not just saying that. I've seen that. I've seen that interaction, and it's cool. I mean, I just said like when I did the raffle and pulled your name and shot you the message. We'd have to go back and we'll have to pull it up here on the screen. But yeah, you're just like, man, I'm speechless, like so excited. I called you up and
Yeah,
you're gonna get to see William likes to, you're definitely comfortable chatting, but you were just like blown away. So it was exciting to work with you in the process, and exciting to see it all come together. And you mentioned you started in December. You get a lot on the go now. You get a lot of things that are happening. We're going to get into some of how you've grown. It's a little bit different than a lot of people who get into junk removal. But you're putting in the work. I mean, we were chatting off air, and I've seen you and I have chatted off and on Messenger. You're out of the house at 5 and back at 7, so you're definitely hustling, definitely making the move. So, tell us a little bit about how you got into the business here, and we do have. So we're sharing this out to the groups. You can share as well, when I'm chatting. But we've got people. If you're in the groups, just drop your name in the comment. It's going to feel a little bit weird, but when it comes through here, I'll show you when we bring it up on the screen here. It just says Facebook user.
So and I'm actually logging in Facebook on my computer too. So.
Beautiful, yeah. But people are commenting. If you can drop your name or allow StreamYard, you have to allow StreamYard to basically see your name on the comments. So I see someone here from Georgia, and great to have you. Anybody too that's watching, drop a comment and let us know that you're here. Let us know any questions you have for William as we go through. Devin, we can actually see your name, so great to see you. Hunk for Your Junk LLC. and he is from Connecticut. So great to have people jumping in. But William, as I see you're just jumping in here. Okay, it's Trip. Great to see you here, Trip. I appreciate you jumping in. But just give people a little bit of an idea of, we talked about you started in December, but give us an idea of, what got you into this and, how the journey's been, and we'll start picking some nuggets out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually started, as I said, I started my own business in December. I actually got into it. I actually worked with a gentleman who was doing junk removal here in Atlanta, doing a little bit different side of it, more the construction aspect. It wasn't extremely busy, but I just saw the opportunity and the potential there. Also, I loved it. I enjoyed it every single day. So, I approached him about growing his business, give him the opportunity, working out a deal where, hey, I'll promote, I'll do the things that, you want to do. And honestly, he shot it down. He said, he's happy with having one trailer and where he is and things like that. And, for me, that's not me. I'm not that type of person. I'm always wanting to better myself in every aspect of my life, And so I talked to the wife and I asked her, I said, babe, I, want to get a trailer. And she said, okay. And that was it. And from there, it's grown in this, but, I was only in it for about maybe 3 months, 2.5, 3 months prior to me starting this. So, total in the business, I haven't even been doing this for a year, either by myself or prior to.
Nice. So you jumped in, you get a trailer, and I think one of the first things I want to touch on is a lot of people. I see a lot of people in the group. They're struggling to find work. You went about finding work a little bit of a different way, and so tell people how you've used your network that you've built up to get work. I'm thinking specifically of you kind of put out a call and then you connected with some contractors. So give us an idea of that so that people can kind of take some of these and run with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked to so many people about this that have reached out, they see my posts and things like that. And, guys, from not even just video, if y'all ever have questions, things, message me. There's been several people, and again, not bragging, just saying I'm here to help anybody, man. I've learned so much from, as you mentioned, a different side. But once I started doing this, once I, officially got my trailer, got my LLC, got my insurance, because I'll be honest, man, that's the biggest issue that a lot of people do not do. And a lot of people think that, oh, I can do it for a month or two, make some money, and then I can get that stuff. You're still taking that chance and you're putting the homeowner and yourself at risk. But for me, it was, my first post was literally on Facebook. I wasn't advertising or anything like that on my personal page. I introduced my Facebook page, had no likes, no follows, just did it. Stated every single thing I did. But what I did, the difference, guys, and a lot of people do, is tag every single one. I think you can tag 99 people on a post. Don't tag your best friend that you see every single day or things like that. Go through your friends list, look at do the due diligence and see who's in construction, who's in roofing, who's in the type of industries, property management, who's in the different things, companies that can utilize you. And what I did is then I tagged all of them in my initial post. I didn't, again, tag my mom. I didn't tag my best friend. I tagged people that, I thought could, if someone sees it. And when you can tag 99 people, a couple of people did see it. And I got pretty good bit of jobs, residential, and also a few leads for contractors that have turned into some great things. So for me, that was the biggest thing, believe it or not, that I did was doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, we all have a Rolodex, right? For those that don't know what that is, we all have a bunch of people that we know, and they're going to know a bunch of people. So, as you're starting out a business or starting out anything, you have to market your business. Yes, I'm in the marketing industry. We do websites, Google Ads, SEO, but there is so much you can do without ever hiring someone and without ever, spending any money. It takes some time, but you've typically got more time than money when you're first starting a business. So go through, like, let's say you have 1,000 friends. That's a pretty typical number for most people, 700, 1,000 friends. Go through each one of those people. And, the people that make sense, shoot them a message and say, hey, I just started this business up. Would love, if you know anybody that might need it or know any contractors, maybe give them a little nudge into, the type of person that they need to connect you with. you are a marketing person as soon as you start a business. If you're not, your business is not going to go as far as it could. So reach out to people. You may think, oh, I don't want to bug people. Well, people need help. And if you're offering a good service, you've got to reach out. You owe it to the people that need help to do that. So Trip says, yeah, Facebook is what got my business off the runway.
Yeah.
It's huge. I'll chat about something that we've done with ours here in a little bit with giveaways and stuff. But using your network, whether it be on LinkedIn or Facebook or just in person. If you go to, you mentioned you guys have a bowling night or a pool night. Sorry, talk to those people. Tell them about what you did. One of my mentors said, if your uncles and aunts don't know what you do, then you're not telling enough people. Now, obviously, they're not necessarily your ideal clientele, but if they know what you're doing, that's very, very important, right?
Absolutely, huge.
So you connected with some contractors, and that to me, you talked about the insurance and everything. You got that right away, and that allowed you to jump in with some contractors. So lead us down the journey of that how that all happened, because that has ballooned for you.
Yeah. And that's one thing, as you mentioned, in this industry, junk removal services, whatever it may be, however you want to call it, there's so many different avenues of revenue that you can bring in. And for me personally, I do probably about 75, 80% commercial. And when I say commercial debris pickups, deck demos, I do the deck demos. We do offer that in the fences. We do those, but normally it's with contractors. If they have these guys and people and things like that, I'll come out, pick up decks, pick up patios, roofs. I do roof rentals a lot. I do a lot of turn houses, clean outs for, the trash outs for those, as well as things like that. I definitely go towards the residential, obviously, but my main focus is the contractors, because these are the type guys that they have work. They have work every single day of the week, and where difference is when you're going to the residential junk side, it's one person and it's one time. They might call you in 2 months or 6 months or a year, where these contractors are calling you 2-3 times a week plus, and that's bringing in your consistent residual money that's going to then allow you to expand your business and do those type of things.
Yeah, I love it. What would you say to someone who says, well, the margins on that sort of thing aren't the same as they are on junk removal?
That's absolutely true. Also, you don't have the opportunity to find those goodies and those treasures and things like that. But at the same time, I'd much rather do 2 jobs at $500 in the same amount of time that you're going to do 1 job at $800. The amount that comes in, and what I'm doing, on average right now, I'm doing 3 roofs a day. 3 of my trailers are out on roofs, and then I'm doing between 3 to 5 pickups a day besides, that. So you're talking in a week's time, 15 to 20 on average commercial pickups. And then I do, throw in some residential in there when I do have the opportunity to. But hands down, I mean, it's way more money. It's way more opportunities. And you can still get your residential junk. But one other thing about the contractors that I meant that you had mentioned about the insurance, you've got to have all that. You've got to have your workers' comp. You've got to have your general liability policy. You've got to have, you don't have to have your EIN, but obviously you definitely want to. But those things that you got to have, and they know that you're putting the time in to do that. Where if you're just doing residential junk, I say this with all respect to anybody that does not have it. Anybody with a trailer and a truck or a car can go be a residential junk guy. And fact is, the contractors care about coverage and everything else. Me and you don't. If someone's going to come to my house, I care about the cheapest it can be done and the fastest it can be done. Bottom line, I don't care about anything else. Where the contractors, they're not saying that. They do want it for a little bit cheaper, but again, I'm getting 3 times the amount of work doing that, than what I would be residential. And then you don't have the brand base, of that.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, I just wanted to touch on that too, because people are going to bring that up. So you've got the commercial stuff that's coming in pretty steady. Where are your residential jobs coming from right now? Like, obviously you built things up.
Actually from your website that you did for me, believe it or not. Any of my posts on Facebook, I always include my website on there. Also certain hashtags. I get a lot of calls from Google. Not a ton, because obviously we had talked about, doing some SEO. I don't have the time yet to do that, but I will. And I don't have the expansion. I don't have, the manpower to honestly expand anymore right this second. Here in 2 weeks, I will. So the end of the month, but for me, it's Google. People do find me on there. I do have GMB. The website that I do have for you, and really honestly, it's a lot of word of mouth, because just like residential, people are people. Once you do a good job for one contractor, they have other buddies that are contractors, and that's helped me a lot too.
I love it. I love it. What would you do differently if you were in your business all over again?
Honest to God, if I could start it all over again, that's hard. That is really hard, because can say honestly, I've been very blessed and fortunate with everything I've had in the short time that I've had do it. I think one thing I do is a little more due diligence on your dumps, your areas that you want to do the population density of each city. If you're going to do the residential, where your landfills are located, what the fees are for those landfills, because a transfer station close to the city is going to be 3 times more expensive than a landfill out in the boondocks. But also build those relationships. For me, I would have done a little bit more due diligence on the pricing of each landfill in which area, honestly.
I love it. I love it. And that's obviously going to be different for everybody, but that's good advice. But I mean, you jumped out of the airplane and you just built your parachute as you went. I mean, I think we've been connected for most of your journey.
Yeah.
So I think we connected end of December, early January. You were just getting going. You jumped in. I think you jumped into a couple of our giveaways. And ended up winning one. So let's talk a little bit, since we've got you on here, how was the process of working with us on the website? And, obviously, I didn't warn you that I was going to talk about this, but, you mentioned that there are jobs coming off it, and we haven't even done any additional SEO. Like, we built the website out, did the foundational SEO, but, and you're getting some jobs off of that. But talk a little bit about the process of working with us, just so that people
more happy to. I guess really back up that one thing I would have done is, if you have the financial means to do it, definitely build a website first and foremost. Absolutely, that's probably one thing I would have done, because that would have helped in some other things. But as far as working with you, I mean, when you called me, everything else, I mean, just the vibe I got off you from you, again, you said how we talked and everything else, it was awesome. Coming in, you weren't pushy. You weren't like, hey, I need this, give me this, give me this. It was really a lot on my time. And not because, I wanted it. It's regardless of, you're not trying to press people. With everything I had going on, it was so busy. So far as easy to work with, understanding, man, I could reach you at any time. When I give you a text or call, always. And that was really cool as well too. But just detailed. You had a lot of knowledge. The biggest thing I really enjoyed also was you asked me what I wanted, not what you were going to give me. And that allowed me to tell you, how I wanted my website built, with the look, the style that I was going to, versus what a lot of other, websites are. And for me, that was definitely one of the best things was that.
Awesome. No, I appreciate you sharing that. I want to touch on your Facebook activity, because we talked a little bit about your personal Facebook, but you share. I mean, you shared out into the groups, but you are sharing every day something. And this is something that I encourage any junk removal business to do. I mean, I do a lot of it on my personal page for their marketing business, because I get more reach that way. But talk a little bit about, how do you fit in the taking pictures, because that's a complaint that I hear a lot is, oh, I don't have time, I'm so busy. But like talk a bit about that, and then talk about the return on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing is, before you do anything, you got to take pictures. You have to take before pictures, and then you have to take after pictures. And not because I want to go post it on Facebook. You've got to cover yourself too. You know what I mean? Where the jobs change, where you've had customers will send you pictures. Hey, I give you a quote, and now you go out the next day to do the job, and they've added so much to the pile, or things have changed. And then also, when you do finish a job, if someone calls you back, hey, you didn't get this, well, it wasn't here, and you do have proof documentation of that. But that's first and foremost. That's the main reason I do it. I haven't been posting probably past 2 weeks, because again, I've been that insanely busy, working so much. But posting on Facebook and everything is huge because you use hashtags, you use, post on the pages, where a lot of the pages I post on of my jobs are the junk removal pages and things like that. It's to help, and show. It's not just to beat my chest and say, oh, I'm so busy, I'm making so much money. It's not, because there could be a job on there that you guys are about to have, or you just came from one that you're doing a bid on. And again, my prices are going to be totally different than everybody else's, but there's something there that, relate to you on that. As well, you continue to post, somebody's going to see it somewhere, whether whoever it may be. And I've gotten a lot of calls from just my Facebook post and not advertising. It's just the actual post. So for me, it's huge. I want to get on other channel sources, like we talked about, YouTube, Twitter, everything else. I'm looking to find the time to, do that. But it's huge, man. It absolutely is. Don't think that, you post for a week and you don't get any responses or anything like that, oh, this is a waste of time. It just wasn't your week. That's all it was. You got to continue with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can say, I've been working on building, one of the groups that I'm a part of, the Apex group, it talks a lot about building your machine, right? And that's, sharing out twice a day on Facebook. I'm pretty active on my personal page, right? And anybody who follows me, but there's a lot of people that don't see my posts, and there's a lot of people that see the posts and don't interact with them. So just because you're getting a couple likes doesn't mean that people aren't seeing it. I've had people reach out, and we've been friends for a year or two. They just reach out of the blue one day and say, hey, can we jump on for a website? They've never liked my posts. They've never commented on my posts, and they just pop in, right? And it's the same for junk removal, right? If you are consistently putting it out there, all it takes is one person to see it one time when the need is there, right? And so, make that happen. And it's free, right? Because I once again, it comes back to there's several people in the groups that have reached out to me, and they're, consistently, probably 4, 5, 6 times over, the last year. And they're like, hey, I need help with marketing. I said, well, what are you doing? Because they're not in a position financially to jump on with us. I said, well, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I can't really go out to like network with people because gas prices are so high. I said, well, you've got the phone right there. Like, call people or post. And they're like, well, it's hard. And I'm like, well, first of all, you've got to help yourself before I can help you. But secondly, you're leaving money on the table. If you really, are backed into a corner, make that effort. Post regularly. Recycle job posts. If you don't have any jobs right now, take jobs that you have done before, even if it was last week, and post them again, because people probably aren't going to have seen the same post, right? And so being active on Facebook is so key. Talk to us a little bit about your goals. You're expanding rapidly. Hasn't even been a year yet. What is your kind of next big milestone?
Definitely a milestone. Well, I want to back up on one thing, about the posting, but also too, it takes a few minutes to do that, guys. But when you get home, spend 30 minutes to an hour, look up Google, look up contractors, look up there, send out 5 to 10 emails, have a template made out. You know what I mean? Copy, paste it, 5 to 10, spend 30 minutes. You do 5 to 10 a day in a week, and just 5 Monday through Friday, you're talking 25 to 50 companies, contractors you've done. Probabilities of someone contacting you back, whether it works out or not, are very large. But now back to your question. I apologize again, just refresh it, because I went off on that because I did think about that.
No, that's key. I mean, it comes back to what we're saying. Put in that consistent effort, and consistently reach out to people, even if you don't see returns. It's a free thing. Obviously, if you're spending thousands of dollars on marketing, maybe monitor that pretty closely. But if you're doing free activities like sending emails, doing calls, you don't have to spend a whole day doing it. Do something consistently. But my question was,
I remember now.
What's your next goals?
My next goal. So what I actually have going on, like I said, when I started, it was just me and my trailer. And after a couple weeks, a guy came on with me. I now have 3 full-time employees besides myself, so 4 including myself. 5 trailers, 3 trucks. Getting my 6th trailer next week, or actually 2 weeks, hopefully by the end of the month. As soon as I have time to go up and get it. But truthfully, man, my goal is to have 10 trailers. If you want to say true goal this year, the remainder of this year, is to have 2 more. Hopefully 1 next month, and then again, you got to wait because as everybody knows, going into the fall and the winter, it starts to slow down. So I don't want to overspend and extend myself and everything. But realistically, I'd like to have by the end of next year, if I can have 10 trailers, I'll be happy with that, for sure.
That's huge. What are your employee goals? Because you obviously probably need one or two more people to run that.
Yeah, I definitely am. So out of my 4 employees, I have one that actually he starts a week from tomorrow, so on July 11th. That's kind of what we talked about. Fourth thing, his job is strictly picking up and dropping off roof rentals. So I do the trailers for the roofs. For those, I do on average 3 a day, and that's 3 out of my 5 trailers. But he literally is just picking up, going to the dump, taking to a new location, dropping off. Then I have another gentleman, Ben, and Benji. He's been with me since day one. Awesome worker. He has a Chevy 1500. Obviously, with the smaller truck, has smaller capabilities, of hauling things like that. So normally I'll just have him hook up to my big Tex, 10SR, sometimes maybe my Lamar, and he'll do a lot of the smaller jobs or pickups as well. I've got another helper that'll either go with myself, or normally I send with him out on jobs as well, because me, I don't mind working, man. I'll go do a deck demo by myself and everything else, to give those guys, a little bit more help together. With having another trailer or two, I might need to bring on 1, maybe 2 helpers, I guess you would say, regular employees, not driving capabilities or anything like that, but just helpers for the remainder of the year right now. And again, that also depends on, with the addition, if I decide to go or am able to get other roofing contractors, or if they're, actual contractors doing remodels, decks, things like that. So it depends on what the use will be for, is if I'll need what type of employee I'll need to bring on for what.
I love it. And this is, I mean, the main point I wanted to drive home for people is, yes, we did a website for you. We haven't even started SEO together, and you are crushing it. And this is what makes me excited about working together with you on the SEO. Is, one, you're already putting in a ton of boots on the ground effort, and 2, you're hungry, right? So it's a joint effort. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to sit back and wait for the leads to flow in, right? It's like, how can we crush this on every angle?
Absolutely. You never know, tomorrow or Tuesday when we go back to work after the holiday, my contractors could call me and say, hey, I've got someone else, or I'm no longer needed. They could say, they're going out of business. So in everyday life, you never settle, man. I always want more, not because I want more money, but because I want stability across the board. I don't want to rely on one person versus another, because again, you just got to look at a bunch of different angles on that. But absolutely.
Yeah. Yep, this is something I just thought of, and I hadn't shared with you over Messenger yet. And I'll share this for the whole group. I was chatting with, end of the month, I had a ton of calls with potential website customers, and one of them we were chatting through, and he's kind of the same as you. He's been dominating with no website, no Google business listing, nothing. And he was like, "How can we go to the next level?" But one of the things that interested me as someone in this space, he was talking about getting in touch with shed builders. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So make connections. And this is something I'd recommend you do if you haven't. Get in touch with shed builders and talk to them and say, hey, if you've got sheds coming in and you need someone to take the sheds away, we're the people for that. We love shed demos, and shed removals, but getting in touch with them. And then often those same people who are getting a new shed or getting a shed removed, they have a bunch of junk. There's a certain type of people. If you've got a shed, you've probably got a bunch of stuff in the shed that you no longer need, right? So for anybody out there listening, I asked if I could share this because he's been crushing it, and he actually was in the shed builder game. That's what got him into junk removal. And so get in touch with the people in your area that do shed building. In Atlanta, there's got to be 50 to 100 of those types of people, right? And connect with them and say, hey, I know you probably already have someone, but if you need someone to jump in and it's a busy, let us show you what we can do, and help out there. So, man, this has been fun. This has been really good to chat back and forth. Good to catch up, because you and I haven't chatted for a second because we've both been extremely busy. What would you say? Anything that we haven't gone over for the people who are just starting?
Man, honestly, I could go on forever and ever and ever. A lot of people have called me, asking different advice, and literally, man, I have no issue, as you can see, talking. I'll share every single thing that I've learned with anybody at any time, as long as I'm not on a job. But I'm in the truck a lot. a whole lot. As I mentioned, 31,000 miles in 6 months on a brand new F-350. I'm in a lot. So, for me, biggest thing is think out of the box, man. A couple things of me, and I'll just touch on this. It's sometimes sore subject for people, sometimes not. It's, again, no disrespect to anybody. Everything works for everybody. Me with my company, I don't like the word junk. I don't like the word junk let me phrase that. Not that I don't like it. I chose not to have junk in my company's name because I feel that if you do, you're reaching a specific demographic. Junk removal, residential, where if you do, removal services, debris removal, just something different that you can still advertise on top of that, your different services, which everybody does. But for me, I feel that, a lot of contractors and things like that might not take a company more serious, but be more open-minded depending on how their company's worded or their branding of that. So for me, that's why I chose not to. I still absolutely go after the residential, but for me, that's my mentality on how I came up with the name and where I wanted to go with that. Because again, it doesn't limit you or give off the impression that you're just doing one strict thing. I can also say, I've done some jobs that down in, I guess, nicer areas that they called because I didn't have junk, and they actually literally said that, and it's a persona, and I know a lot of people are sit there, well, that's not the customer I want, and things like that. Work is work. Customer's customer. The money's the same exact thing. It don't matter if it's an uptight person or a really nice, sweet lady. Work is work, and what needs to be done needs to be done. That's one thing. The biggest thing for me is think outside the box, man. There is residential junk is one thing, commercial debris is another. There's still 15, 20 different paths that you can go in this industry. You can go one big thing, property management companies for apartment complexes. So apartment complexes are threefold. One, you can get them on the overage of the trash, things like that, at the compactors if they need pickups. Two, with people drop off couches, everything else all the time for, whatever it may be. So that's actually one. Two, you can then go into your evictions. And then also not even just evictions, but your turn house or turns, what we call when, your move outs, when people do move out and they leave all that stuff. So apartment complexes, you've got 3 different opportunities to get some revenue out of that one apartment complex. That's one thing I'll say. Go to your contractors that, do roofs, do decks, do patios, do fences. That right there are opportunities to go for pickups as well. Also one of my main contractors, Stein Construction, you guys see I post about them all the time. I'll tell you one, if it wasn't for, he was actually a guy that, I actually went to school with. He was a year under me. We haven't talked in 20 years, literally, just acquaintances at high school. He saw my post. He does all that stuff. He messaged me. He said, man, I got something for you. I said, cool. Started doing his pickups, one roof here or, one pickup here, because he had a company. He had guys that do it. I continue to grow, continue to show my worth, busted my butt. His people that he had started to slack off. Roles started to reverse a little bit, started to get a little more opportunities. And then now I do 100% all of his stuff, and they are no longer with him. So, but also now that I've gotten in with them, I also ask too, when they have material returns. When I go to pick up a construction debris pickup, there's tons of material left, brand new wood, everything else like that. I'll offer, hey, I'll bring that back to your yard, or things like that for a small fee. Or because I'm doing so many jobs, what I normally do is I'll take it and I'll bring it to my house, because obviously that's normally the last place I go. And then every Friday I'll do one load. Obviously when I go pick up checks and things like that, I'll take that to their warehouse and I'll charge them one fee for everything, because obviously they don't want to pay $150, $200, for $50 worth of wood. But see what your contractors need, what not only where your business is, but you want to see where their business is growing, where their opportunities are. If it's just a roofing company, hey, are y'all looking to expand? Are y'all looking to get into decks? Are y'all looking to get into other things as well? So you just gotta have a different mentality. You gotta think outside the box. You gotta think different ways. Services, not just ways to make money, but services to your contractors to show your worth as well to them.
I love it. Yeah, I love that. I think that's valuable info. Like any people that you work with, whether it be residential or anything, see if you can find ways to add additional value and show your worth. That's any business. You know, junk removal, whether it's, you know, marketing, whatever the case may be. I love that.
Yeah. Another thing I do is, even when I go to a lot of vacant houses with the residential. We do a lot of jobs I do are through property management company. I'm not going to really get into who they are, but it's a ton. Well, yes, that house might be vacant, but the people around aren't. So literally take 3 minutes, get door hangers, put them on literally 3 or 5 houses. So now every single day you're doing 3 to 5 jobs, but now you're touching, 15 to 25 houses a day for that extra couple minutes, so anywhere you can, absolutely do that, man. Take that time. People say, I don't have time to do that. If you don't have time to grow your business, then I understand.
Yeah. I wanted to go back. How do you connect with apartment buildings? Like, are you just dropping off cards in the front there, or are you calling them up? Or
Well, one easy way in apartment complexes goes back to your friends. Who do you know that lives in apartment complexes? You know what I mean? Ask them what type of relationship do they have with the front, desk. A lot of people know everybody. But the other thing, a lot of things I do is I'll just walk into the apartment complex, literally, or I'll drive by if I see apartment complex. Just look if you can see their dumpsters or if things are overflow or anything like that. Just go in and hey, by the way, I was driving by, I noticed this. Here's my card. Here's what I do. But the one biggest thing is when you talk to property management companies, contractors, everything else, you got to know what you're talking about. You got to go in there. You got to let them know, hey, I can get you a COI for my general liability. I can get you a COI, for my workers' comp. You've got to know the things right to say, because at the end of the day, just like you, they're busy. They don't have time for it. So you want to make everything as easy for them as possible. And you want to also have them feel assured that, hey, this isn't just some guy trying to come in here. They know that you're a legit business, and it helps.
I love that. I love that, man. Anybody else that's still listening? Any questions for William? We'll probably wrap up here in 5 minutes or so. But this has been a blast. I don't know if you see any questions that are coming up on your end from where you shared it, but yeah, anything else you have, man? This has been fun. I'll mention the one thing there. Here, you go ahead, and then I've got one thing. I
was just gonna say one thing, man. Is guys, understand this. I don't care if you live near me or away. Like I said, call me, message me. But one thing that's helped me, I'll be honest, is get to know your other people, your other junk removal people that are close to you, not because they're your competition, because there's tons of money to go around. There's tons of opportunities to go around. And talk to them. Let's see, like Taylor Chastain. Taylor very well with Up Junk. We talk all the time. Jimmy Kimmon with Jimmy Junk Removal. Hunter with Junk Hunter. Oh gosh, who else? I mean, Erica with Rely on Junk Removal. So there's several ones. Also, Jason out there, Kevin Richardson down in Savannah or Columbus, 2 hours away from me. Sydney's JT Tucker. Send jobs, because the thing is, sometimes you get too busy. Sometimes you just don't have enough manpower or the right equipment or something like that. And instead of wasting that customer's time bumbling around looking for stuff, you know what? Maybe this person does, or this person. I sent a few jobs to other junk removal companies, and you got to build that relationship, man. Because again, at the end of the day, there's so much to go around. Why be that person? For me, it's way easier to be nice than it is to be an asshole. Excuse my language.
There's plenty of work to go around. It's I'm going to address someone just popped on YouTube. Alonso asked if this is live. Yes, we are still live. We're going to be riffing here for a second. So if you have any questions, definitely drop them. But yeah, there is so much work. I mean, same with junk removal. We've chatted with people here locally, but everybody gets busy, right? They might be having a super busy week, and they've got customers calling through, and it looks better for their business if you can take care of their business. If you can take care of the customers that are coming through, that looks better for them. You get a little piece of the pie. They, maybe you give them a little referral fee. Maybe you just guys have a back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But talk to people. There is so much work to go around. If you're sitting there saying, "Hey, I don't ever want to talk to my competition," you're living in a scarcity mindset. There is a ton of work to go around. So talk to people. You know, we're all here to make money, but there's so much money to go around that if you can work with your competition, they may see one that's in an area that they know you service, and they just don't, you know, they're too busy that week or whatever, and they give you a tag, right? In
Or
Facebook groups,
or it's far away. Yeah, that's happened. You know, also bounce questions off of them. I mean, you know, like I said, I've asked Taylor with Up Junk. I've asked, you know, all these guys different questions. Kevin, you know, hadn't did a lot of certain demos, so I asked him, you know, hey, have you done these before? If you did, you got any tips for me? You know what I mean? And we feed off of each other and help each other. Honestly, we really do, and that's a huge thing. What they say when we're not on the phone, that's different. But you know, we've got all that relationship, man, and that helps. That helps. You know, I know a lot of people. We go on to these groups and post questions and comments and things. It takes a while to get that. You know, you got those relationships with these guys that are close to you. You got 6, 7, you know, other guys that you can pick up the phone and call, and you know they'll pick up and vice versa and have that relationship with. That's helped tremendously. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, someone's asking, do you share these videos? Yeah. So when we end this, it should still be around as a video, but you can also go to YouTube. This is streaming to YouTube. So if you go to Blue Crocus Solutions YouTube channel, you can find the videos there, and you know you can check in and listen to all the past ones. But we also put them up on podcasts. So any podcast platform you have, just search the Blue Crocus Experience, and you'll find it there.
Yeah.
Awesome, William. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, a couple of things. You mentioned one thing. One thing that I would have changed, I would have got a CPA sooner, as soon as I had started. Literally, guys, I cannot express how important that is to get a professional, a actual CPA. I use Chad Boyle. Chad Boyle is amazing CPA. It takes so much burden off of you, but I'm telling you, get one. It's not as expensive as you think it is. But trust me, you can't do this by yourself. You can't do every single invoice. You can't do all the accounts payable, your payroll. There's no way that you can do that. So get somebody. Again, I recommend Chad Boyle. He's amazing. That's a huge thing, man, is to get that. It's not that expensive at all.
I love it. I love it. Cool. Well, we're going to wrap up here soon. So appreciate everyone who has shown up. Some good questions here. Appreciate the support. William, appreciate you having you on. This has been a long time coming. I bailed on you. You bailed on me.
Yeah.
We're both busy, so it's been fun getting this to work. We chose the holiday weekend as hopefully one that we could jump on. But everyone have an amazing July 4th weekend. We just had Canada Day yesterday up here in Canada. But William, any last words before we hop off here?
Guys, call me. If y'all need anything, message me. I promise I'm not too busy. If you're going to get a website, go with Lewis. If you're going to do SEO, go with Lewis. And not because, again, he's allowed me to do this video, because I personally have experience with him. That is how I do know that. Do the right thing. Do stuff by the book. If you can't afford to do something, don't do it. If you don't know how to do it, there are times to learn. Sometimes not at the expense of the customer. Other than that, guys, I've been blessed. I look forward to seeing everybody's growth, which I do see. Lewis, continue relationship with you, get working on that SEO, and just appreciate everything from the bottom of my heart.
I love it. I appreciate you. I'm going to touch in here with this one last comment.
Okay.
Alonso, shoot me if you go to our YouTube description, shoot me an email at lewis@bluecrocus.ca. I'll also pop in and answer your comment there, but we can get connected up there and sort you out with Google Ads. So, guys, this has been William and I chat. Follow along on his Facebook, see what he's doing. And William, let's stick around here for a second after I'll be recording, and we'll catch up. But guys, appreciate you touching for the next show. We'll have some good shows coming down the pipeline.
Have a good one.